Let's move on to the next big name, and that would be one Buddy Hield. All in agreement here.
Wow.
No.
I don't think there's a 0% chance, but it has to be at a very low price. And it has to be if you've struck out on other options. I'm really thinking more something along the lines of with that room mid-level exception. There might be a contract I'm not completely against, depending on the other options out there. I am interested in seeing a full year with Buddy and Joel, whether or not he can recapture some of what he did in Game 6. I'm just not sure I'm ready to bank on that, which is why I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I think Daryl, again, we talked about this on Monday, but I think Daryl's comments were pretty revealing.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see the roster get changed enough that the problems that they ran into with Buddy are all of a sudden going to change. And I don't think that's necessarily an indictment of Buddy. Like, I agree with Daryl on that, but I think he'll have a pretty good market. I think he's still in the age bracket where he cares about maximizing earnings to some degree. Like, I'm not saying that he's necessarily going to go anywhere that throws the most money at him, but I think he's still probably cognizant of that versus a guy who's at the end of his career trying to ring chase and things of that nature. So if he was a better two-way guy, it'd be more of a priority for me. And I do think he deserves a little bit of credit for the effort that he showed on defense.
And
but
I think he just flat out held up better than I
Yeah.
was expecting defensively.
I think given his reputation and some of the issues he's had over his career, was better there than I expected. But I don't think that really made a difference with Nick Nurse. So
Do you think a team gives him more than the room mid-level? Do you think he still commands that?
How much is that again?
I could see him getting
$8 million.
The problem with the
10-ish.
problem with the room is you can only use it for up to 2 years in length. That's really limiting when you add in the $8 million starting point.
I could see him getting like 3 for 30 or something like that.
That's, I mean, it's, in all honesty, that's part of the reason why I said no here. Like I said, there is a scenario where the Sixers renounce everyone, have about $15 million left after going after their big name, whether that's Paul George. We don't need to go over the list. So maybe if you really believe in Buddy, you can use the last remainder of that cap space and then eventually use a room mid-level on someone else. I'm just not sure I believe in Buddy right now enough to use that on a long-term deal.
I looked at him and I did want to. I wish he had more time with Embiid so we can really get a good chance to see it.
100%.
And the intrigue of that and bringing him
Also
back
with
was
a Joel
having,
that could move more to
absolutely.
do the dribble
And in
handoff.
all honesty, like even before the playoffs, I think after Embiid came back, about 60% of Buddy's minutes were with Joel on the bench, which shocked me and I think was a little bit of a mistake. I would have liked to have seen those two develop some chemistry because what we saw in Game 6, it's not even like Buddy was really doing much in terms of moving off ball or coming off screens or coming off DHOs. It's just when they trap, he's actually going to make them pay. You can put him in the corner, and when you swing that ball around, he's going to, bury the shot. It would have been just great to see a little more because this is like I said, you have one big name, one maybe middle name in terms of that 15 or so million after signing that big name. You have to believe in Buddy Hield a lot to use that last bit of flexibility. And you just didn't see enough over the last couple of weeks. But it would have been great to see him, like I said, next to Embiid more.
Yep, a full training camp and an opportunity to get things started there, see him go through the preseason and begin Game 1 with the 76ers, Embiid, and everyone else. I would have liked to have seen it, but it just may cost too much for that. And as we talk about so many times, you need shooters around Joel Embiid. You also need shooters around Tyrese Maxey. And that guy, as we saw in that Game 6, we didn't see it a lot during his time when Embiid came back. But even that little glimpse of those first few games that we had where that chemistry was there with Paul Reed, ironically enough, as the playmaker and finding Paul Reed for some easy buckets there on that as that role man, I would like to see Buddy Hield back, but I just know it's going to cost too much. And that's why in our exercise here, I just simply went with no. I think it's going to cost too much. You're going to have to find that shooter elsewhere and maybe at a little cheaper price, plus in the mold of whoever that other player may be when we talk about some of those bigger names that they sign on for.
We all silly like the mayor.